welcome to yet another artist spotlight here in the Terra Virtua Discord Boys channel. Today we have a special guest out of the UK, our boy Zach, commonly known as Zachary. So let's give a warm intro. We're going to ask him a bunch of questions, go through his art, talk about art that has already sold out on Terra Virtua. So congratulations, Zach, on that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Zach, welcome.
Hi, how you doing, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. So I think what we do is we usually start this out by having you tell us a little bit about yourself and our community.
Okay, cool. So I'm kind of knocking on to the 40s, graphic designer, stroke illustrator, living in the UK. I've been drawing since I was a kid, so I've never really stopped. And I've been lucky enough to be able to do that as a career. So career illustrator and, like I said, graphic design. So art has always been part of my life, and it's always been something that I've, been involved in. My dad's a designer, my brother's an illustrator and designer, so it's kind of like a family thing. So yeah, that's it really. And getting into crypto art has just been like a massive release for me, because I've always done work professionally, like for clients and etc., but I've never really concentrated on selling my own work. So this is like a huge step for me to be able to actually get the stuff that I love to do out there and people start engaging with it and buying it, which is just, it's like a dream come true for me.
I didn't know you were the Reavers guy, and I really want to dive into that, because those are so cool to me. I love the mesh of like the mechatronic, and it's almost like a Aztec, and like merges with mech, merges with what's the word that you used on your profile here? Cyberpunk.
Yeah, so cyberpunk's like a big thing like that I've just been getting into in the last kind of few years, really. But I've always been into like sci-fi, and growing up, Star Wars was obviously a massive influence. And so yeah. Okay, so these guys are just like, I love kind of drawing droids and robots and stuff, and I kind of started doing portraits, and this was just like a set that I started to do that just kind of worked together, and I like the colorways. And the guy on the left, the pink guy, was actually Red 209, which is the first NFT I ever sold.
Wow.
And that was to Collector. That was on Rarible.
Yeah. What was that? What was that feeling like? We usually ask about, like, because was it like an aha moment, and then you're excited, or like, yeah, take us through that.
Oh yeah, I was blown away, to be honest with you, because I put it on, and it was actually for quite a lot. It was like 0.5 ETH, which was like, for your first NFT, that's quite a lot of money. And then the other guys, yeah, they sold out quite quickly as well. Yeah. I think, like I said, like masks are a bit of a thing for me. So again, I love like the Japanese Oni Masks, and these are just like my take on it. These aren't really, the Japanese masks are a lot more they're kind of different to this, but there's a lot of that culture that Oni Mask comes from, Japan, China, India, Indonesia, that kind of spread across that part of the world with the kind of rise of Buddhism, and it's just what kind of ancient storytelling kind of way. But I just love the way that these kind of the expressions on these characters and how they're meant to portray these different characters in the stories.
Do you draw inspiration from different cultures a lot of times, or like it's...
I mean, I don't know. I just draw experience from anything that I like, kind of visually. I just, I'm a collector of like.
He said it. He's a collector. One of us.
So I just grab stuff from all over.
So do you like to travel? Like it seems you may be well traveled with the...
I'm reasonably well traveled over my many years. So yeah, I've been out to Asia and Cambodia, Thailand, spent some time in Australia.
Yeah.
Been over to the States a few times. So
buy a lot of trinkets and then have those.
Yeah. I'm lucky, actually. I'm not too bad like that. I know some people who have just got like shelves and shelves of stuff. Most of my shelves are full of books, so that's good. But
cool.
I'm not too crazy in that. I'm not one of these guys that has like all of the little kind of toys and stuff everywhere. Although I draw influence from all that kind of stuff, that graphic style. But this was another set of like the Oni Masks, and number 4, the one on the left, was one of the kind of earlier ones where I started to kind of do this kind of mechanized heads. And, you know, you can see the kind of obvious influence there from like Transformers and kind of programs like that. But again, it was just somewhere where I wanted to kind of start taking it. So when I spoke to Jeff about kind of joining Terra Virtua, and I'd seen like some of the stuff on the site, and I thought, okay, what can I kind of bring to the audience that's going to be, you know, new for me, so it's engaging and exciting for me to do new stuff as well. Because each time I join a new kind of gallery, it's nice to be able to kind of maybe just tweak what you do slightly each time. So it means you know, it's fun for you to do the work for kind of each different gallery as well. Kind of breaks it up a bit, and that's quite a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I can say that like your art is gonna be like what I display in my fan cave, and everyone's gonna be super disappointed to know that like you're sold out already.
Well, we have to jump in and ask him, right? We got to put him on the spot. Zach,
right.
are you gonna upload more masks to Terra Virtua?
Yeah, completely. I'm working on. I've got one that is kind of nearly complete, but what I want to do is I want to get a good collection of stuff going before I load more stuff up. And I've got a bit more experimentation I want to do. But I really liked what happened with the skull guy on the kind of right there.
Oh yeah,
as a kind of something to kind of move forward. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff happening at the moment, but that's definitely one of the things I'm working on is because I'm really aware that those two sold out really quickly, and I need to get some more stuff back up on the
They're
site.
hungry.
For sure.
They're so hungry.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I say. I was bummed because I want to decorate my fan cave. Like this would be an expression of like my taste.
Yeah.
And I definitely would love to have some of these showcased in my own.
That's cool. So this is like kind of start getting into like more of the cyberpunk stuff. I've always been into that. Like growing up watching like films like Akira, big influences there. Like Sci-Fi is like I love Sci-Fi, like Ian Banks, Philip K. Dick, Alan Moore as kind of writers, and then like artists. Growing up, I kind of grew up reading 2000 AD. Like Dave Gibbons, like of Watchmen fame, and Brian Bolland, like Killing Joke. Like those artists for me were like I just spent hours and hours just poring over their artwork. That's kind of like where my background of like the stuff that I love to kind of just draw comes from. Deathburger, who's he's a Spanish illustrator, and he's done some amazing work. Yeah, so Deathburger, he's brought out a book called Neon Rising, which is it's an amazing book. A really kind of, it's just like jam packed. So everyone should go and check Deathburger out, because he is just like he's a massive influence on stuff that I do.
This is cool, and I love that. Like I've seen it. Like a lot of artists will give credit to where their inspiration came from, which is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any artist, like, you know, everyone remixes what they see and hear and touch in the world into their art, you know. So I don't think any artist can claim to be unique in what they do. So you know, I'm so influenced by so many people,
and I bet like subconsciously and then consciously, you know, like I've noticed that I've done things and I'm like, it was like a rip off of something, but I didn't like consciously know what anyway.
I know, I hate that, you know. I hate that you kind of do it and then you see the original thing, you're like, oh no, it's actually really close to that thing. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, have you ever released something and it just somehow looks so similar to someone else's? You didn't know about it before, but you released it and like, well, that looks super familiar.
You know what? I haven't actually done it in my own work, but I've done it. Yeah. I've done it with client work, where I've done work, and you kind of do something, and then someone will say, "Oh, that looks like that," and you're like, "You've never seen it before," and then you look at it, and
you're like, "I promise, I never saw it."
I scrap that idea now. I can't show it to the client because they're just going to think I've ripped that off. So
that's what I was wondering. Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, for sure. It happens all the time.
Your stuff is so unique, though, and I know you're talking about like having a client, but your stuff, I feel like you would never run that risk because it's so unique. I mean,
thanks. I don't know. I just try and do what I like to do, you know. Yeah. So I just, you know, I love. So just go back just one page. Yeah. So the guy in the middle there. was actually inspired by a book cover done back in the 1970s and for a Philip K. Dick story. And it's like of this guy, like there's a droid with his face kind of like just slightly unhinged. So you can see like the workings underneath. So like you're asking me about influences and kind of, you know, so that was a kind of like a rework of like from that original idea. So again, I like to sort of, I don't do it with a lot of things, but that was one idea that just kind of like came directly from something I'd seen. So
so incredible. Like I want to get on like your lighting and the color contrast, like in balance really is super cool. It was the Reaver in here. Oh, actually we'll get
Reavers are down.
I want to ask Zach
Okay.
a question actually using all the color schematics. You know, it's a popular question that we ask here, and I think we'll start with the first one is what tools or programs are you using to create your art?
Okay, so most of what you see here has been done in Procreate on the iPad. So Procreate is like, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but it's a program that's been developed by a team in New Zealand. They have done an amazing job of kind of taking something from scratch. There wasn't really a great drawing tool on the iPad, in my opinion. Like Photoshop had something that wasn't really that great, but Procreate is just, they've just completely wiped the floor with all the competition, I think. So honestly, they just got it wrapped up, in my opinion. I think like on the iPad for sure, I think they're one of the best. I mean, I guess, you know, there's other programs out there that the guys that use the tablets, the Wacom pads and stuff like that, they've got other programs that you can use on your computer. But as far as iPad goes, I think Procreate's definitely the best.
That's cool. I actually have Procreate, and I never knew that you could do art like this in Procreate. Like I dabble and stuff, but like this is, now I'm thinking, man, I'm just not good at Procreate.
Honestly, it's taken me like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years to kind of get to the stage on it.
I'm
for sure.
more impressed now because like I have a hard time with Procreate, so this makes I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, very occasionally I'll do something in Photoshop, like with an image, I'll take it into Photoshop, but I'd say 90% of these are just, everything's just done in Procreate.
Cool. Right,
and I feel like there's like a story behind these. You know, I look at them and they look like characters, right? And I think I asked George Boya this back in the day for his art. And, you know, I'm always so curious. You know, obviously I could see the very bright colors, but every time I look at a piece of your art, I feel like there's some kind of story attached to it. Is that something that you had in mind when you're creating these pieces, or how do these characters just pop in your head?
Do you know what? I couldn't answer that. I can answer the fact that no, there's no story involved. You know, I think in hindsight, you might create a story around a character once you've created them and think, oh, actually, they'd be cool to like maybe do something with. But no, I mean, I just draw, you know, and then what comes to mind, and you know, that's part of my kind of meditative process, I guess, when I'm drawing, is that I just kind of completely switch off and just, I don't know what happens really. You start drawing and then, you know, just see where it goes, you know.
What would be your reaction if one of these characters like did come to life in like a animation series or something? Is that like, I feel like it's like your art is a precursor to that. Like I think that's what Jeff is like saying. Like he could almost see these things like talking to you off the page.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely.
Completely. So this is the Punx series that is just like season 1 of the Punx has just finished. So this is going to be an ongoing thing for me, and each of these is a one-off.
Yeah.
You can collect them. They're all numbered. So in a season, you've got 16 Punx. Once the season ends, we do a kind of a lottery, and then if your Punx number comes up, then you get a kind of special bonus piece. So this is like a kind of thing that I'm just trying to kind of keep going, and I just really love doing these guys. And I think the colors and I think there's a whole like expanded universe just waiting to be discovered with these guys. So I did like 1 to 8, so the ones that we've just seen, and then I decided, right, okay, maybe we mix it up, and I threw in like something else called gangs. So the gangs are going to be like on the next page. If you just flick to that, the gangs are going to be, you're going to kind of bring a new gang with each season. You know, it's just something fun, and then, you know, to do the kind of end of season piece as well.
It's really good. It's really, really good. Oh, are those mugshots?
So these are their mugshots, yeah. So these are all part of the Crimson Angels. So then they're all mugshots. So they're all in prison
How
for
long have
various
you been working
crimes.
on these? Like, this has got some depth to it.
This I don't know. It's probably about 4 or 5 weeks.
Wow. What is the
How long does
timeline?
it take to do a piece?
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Russ.
No,
go.
that was the question I was gonna ask.
Yeah. Interesting.
It depends. It depends. It can take like up to like a day and a half, depending. These guys are maybe a bit quicker, but it depends how kind of much detail I want to put into them.
Would you ever let us stream you doing one? That'd be so cool.
Well, you can actually record it on Procreate.
Oh, is
so,
it?
Yeah,
we'll take anything you throw at us, to be honest. I mean, I'm kind of a fanboy already. So doing these artist spotlights, you get to see like such like a story behind it, and then I become like an instant fan, and now I'm already like an instant fan here. What has the like crypto art world done for you in terms of like connecting to your end users or your you don't call them end users? That's my developer mind.
Collectors, I call them.
Collectors, that's right. So how like tell us a little bit about that, your first experience with it, and like how you feel about it moving forward, the evolution of the space, anything really, just in that topic.
Yeah, I think for me it's so unique. I've never like shown my work in a gallery or anything like that, so I don't actually have any first-hand experience of that with my work, but I know artists, and my dad being one of them, who's like, he's put work up in galleries, and his work is like amazing. Like if you think mine's good, you should see my dad's.
Does he have a phone number? Like
he's so awesome, But so I know from his experience that actually, that selling art in like the real world, paintings and prints and that kind of thing is like so hard, It's a tough game, and I think getting into the crypto art scene has been a real eye-opener for a lot of people around me, because seeing me selling work and getting my work out there, just like such a unique space. I think I don't think there's anywhere else in the art world where you can do this, and then like you say, collect with the people that are buying the work. And I love kind of have conversations and talk to people that are inspired by what I do and want to be involved. I think that's what this space gives you, and you should definitely embrace it.
Do your fans ever inspire the direction you choose to go?
No, I generally, other than featuring DJ Fathead, I wouldn't ever really do anything that people ask me to do, because that kind of starts to take away from, this is about my kind of personal work, and I have that for my day job, doing kind of the work that people ask me to do. So this is much more about my expression. So yeah, I would tend to not kind of go down that road. But then saying that, maybe once we move on to some of the Reavers, then there's definitely some input there, but then we can talk about that. But that's slightly different from a kind of collector point of view. Like, I just hope that if anyone likes my work, then they'll buy it, and that's awesome.
So here's a hard question. Do you like doing this more than commission work? And I hope your clients aren't listening.
Do you know what? I'd probably say I prefer doing this.
Hey, I'm glad you're honest, honestly.
But saying that, I don't think.
But you also love your clients.
Yeah, I love the day job as well, because it's a different thing, and it lets me do things on a level that I could never achieve doing this on my own. So I wouldn't want to do this all the time, because this is also part of my kind of downtime, although it's now become full time. Mm-hmm. But primarily, like, drawing like this kind of stuff was part of my way of relaxing and kind of just breaking out and just like letting go of like the day and just putting some stuff down on the pad. And so these are some sketches that I did based on, I think it was probably after like the first season of The Mandalorian. And you can probably see some of that Star Wars coming through there. But I just started sketching these guys. And they were like really quick sketches. They probably take about, I don't know, like 20 minutes, half an hour just to do, just to knock them out in the black and white. And I just really liked what they did and kind of where they were going. I think I did a set of about 10 of them. Mm-hmm. And then started moving on to do so the next slide. So these are just like them colored up, and then started to kind of the next slide, which is these guys, which were some bounty hunters that I started to do. And at the time I was talking to, I think one of the collectors, Sinchen, on who'd bought some of the stuff, some of the Punx. They were talking to me about doing a collaboration with the Ethmen. I didn't really know a huge amount about the Ethmen, so I started kind of digging into it a bit. And one of the guys at Ethmen kind of retweeted that and said, "Yeah, sure, we'd love to be able to kind of like."
Zeke, was it Zeke by any chance?
Zeke, yeah.
He's actually a friend of. He's actually a friend of mine.
I was going to say, you know him, don't you, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm a huge collector of Ethmen, and I bought the #1 yearly subscription from Zeke.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about it, and now that you're talking about it, I mean, I would love to see you work with Ethmen, because I have that, and I know I guarantee myself
actually
one.
Is already.
Okay, yeah, good.
So
I
what happened? So basically, we were going to do a collaboration with the Punx, and we were going to do like one of the Ethmen characters as one of the Punx. But Zeke saw some other work that I had up on my OpenSea store, and it was these guys. And he was like, "Oh, cool. Who are the bounty hunters?" And I was like, "I don't know. They're just some like bounty hunter characters that I'm working on." And he said, "Awesome. Well, how about, would you like to kind of bring them into our universe?" So we kind of went away and concocted this Space Reavers kind of section of what he's doing. So these guys are actually going to kind of be part of that Ethmen universe. Zeke is in time. He's going to do some characters. So together we've got a whole load of stuff that we're planning. I can't really talk about it at the moment.
Oh, you can't?
That's why I wanted to play dumb, Russ. Can't you just go with the flow? I wanted to see if he would slip.
I know
everything about Ethmen, but I wanted to see, could we get some secrets out of him? But all right, Zach, I appreciate the honesty.
I can't at the moment, because it's so we're just, you have got a sneak preview though, because number 6, the guy on the right hand side, he is yet to drop because gas has been so high. We were going to auction him off yesterday, but I couldn't get the contract through. It's just costing so much money, so we've hold off. So he's going to drop. So he's the next guy to drop soon. So I'm really excited with this though, because they've got a great writer over at Ethmen as well, Pal, who is working with me on this kind of whole backstory. And there's some just amazing stuff happening. We've got like a whole load of clans that the Reavers are part of. They're different kind of different clans and you've got different members, and they've all got different kind of characters and facets to do with the clans. So it's a massive project that is going to have loads and loads of legs in it. So, and I'm really excited about what we can do with it.
I want to play this video game, whatever.
Yeah, this is just some of the other stuff that I do. So I love, obviously, popular culture. Everyone's inspired by it. So Stranger Things was one piece I did. That piece for me was like a real experimentation in what Procreate can do, and really started to kind of stretch what I can do as a kind of an illustrator in that program. Mike Mignola, huge influence on me. Love Hellboy. So again, the guy in the middle, that was just something I spent quite a lot of time on that, just messing and tweaking, trying to get Mike's style, kind of using those, getting the shadows and everything. I just love his work.
Do people come at you with, like, basically they're big fans of, Hellboy, and they want something special for themselves that no one has? So
no, so like all the commission work that I do tends to be for big clients. So you don't have to go in too much into that if you know. I know. Yeah, well, I was just going to say that I don't even do this for commission work for people. So this is just all my personal stuff that I just do, Yeah. When I used to commute, I work in London. I live just outside London, but when I commute into work, I have like an hour train journey into work and then again on the way home. So I'd have time to draw, and most of this stuff was just done on my train journey,
Wow.
I was going to say, I just chip away at it each day, like just doing a bit more. And so, yeah, this is just all personal stuff.
Yeah, so this, you like Stranger Things, Hellboy, and this is John Wick, right?
John Wick,
So
yeah.
this is a snapshot of like what you like.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
if anyone wants to win your heart, like this is, get them stuff like this.
These guys need no introduction. So again, just some fan stuff I did. I meant to carry on doing a series, but this is as far as it got. But I just like these ones. They're quite free, and again, just kind of experimenting with what Procreate can do.
Incredible.
Yeah, so again, this is just some personal stuff that I was just experimenting with. The one on the skull was actually, I did that on my Wacom tablet. So that was drawn in Adobe Illustrator. So that is just, that's all a vector file. So that's kind of crazy that, again, you can just do like vector work on Illustrator using your Wacom tablet, again, which is like super cool. The guy in the middle was massively influenced by Mobius, who I'm a massive fan of, and the guy on the right again was just that was part of a series that I did. They were just kind of like quite quick sketches, but I just loved the kind of the simplicity of the kind of colors there, which was what that whole series was about.
I wanted to like just take a moment to the Reaver in the middle. I wanted to jump in this, but your lighting is like the lighting that comes off this little weapon in the middle on his face and in the back is just really cool.
That is actually an animation. So the kind of the light actually flickers, and you can see that kind of electric current.
Yeah.
So that's actually really cool. The live one of that, and one of the other guys, the guy on the page 14. So the guy on the right again, he's kind of got this kind of power mace kind of device that all that like buzzes with electricity, and again the light just flickers on him. So again, that's just something that's really fun to do, and something again you can do in Procreate really well. They've got a really cool animation tool that I would definitely recommend if anyone's got it and not used it to just give it a go, because it's really powerful.
You really should get a commission for all these plugs.
I know. I should
either free stuff, or I'm gonna let them know like this guy's repping.
It's so cheap though, you know. Like it's like as a program, as an app, it's like I don't know, $15, I guess.
It's like it's so cheap that I'm concerned. Like, is this quality? I was on the fence for a while. Now that I know you use it, I'm like, well,
yeah. I don't know those. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that I got in there, I guess. I hope those guys don't start doing a subscription for it. Because...
yeah.
And I do have a question for Zach, actually, in regards to Procreate, and I'm sure there's a couple of people out there that might want to know too. Do you ever buy any type of color palettes or any type of brush packs in order to do this? You know, I was learning a little bit about Procreate, and I guess you can go ahead and get different types of packs of brushes and color palettes. Yeah,
you can. To be honest with you, I don't. I just use what, you know, the kind of program comes with. I know a lot of guys that, you know, they really into kind of buying or getting hold of like the Photoshop brushes and that kind of stuff. But I have created some brushes in my past for specific kind of jobs, but all this stuff is just done with the straight out of the box stuff that Procreate comes with.
But I was curious about who's in your collection. You know, I've noticed that a lot of artists will, and actually it's going to be a huge bummer if you're like, oh, I don't like anyone else's art. just mine. Like you have like your whole wall covered with your own stuff.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I'm a big fan of a lot of the kind of the crypto art out there. Ever since I joined, I've just been struggling to hold on to any money that I make, because I just spend it as soon as I make it, you know.
Yeah,
there is so much good art out there, and just I've just started buying on Nifty Gateway as well, so I know that's going to be a bad habit.
Well, you like Duncan and Griffin, they're great guys.
Yeah, Griff Crypto, he's cool. I've had some conversations with Griff, so that's awesome. And yeah, Chris Skinner is another one.
Okay.
Massive fan of Chris's.
Chris Skinner's a cool guy.
Chris Skinner is just like, honestly, he keeps like posting all this stuff that he's done like in his archive, and it's like just every time just blows me away. He is just so talented.
What does your dad think about crypto art? I'm very curious.
Yeah, he's cool with it. You know, he kind of wants to get in on it, but I keep trying to kind of pull him in to look at it. You know, he just needs to kind of embrace it.
What do you think it would take to get that generation to really take this seriously?
I think he takes it seriously. He's definitely thinking that, you know, it's something that he'd like to be involved in. But I think it's just the technological kind of leap that he needs to make. And to be fair, I think even for me, who's like, I'm reasonably tech savvy, you know, kind of learning about the whole kind of minting process, gas, all of the wallets, you know, if you hadn't ever touched crypto, which I hadn't before, then just learning that whole kind of like, you know, backstory of crypto and what it's all about and how it works can be a bit daunting, for sure.
Do you see that as an advantage to people who are in here early, because there is a bit of a learning curve for the mainstream? Like,
I definitely think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I joined like back in September, I guess it was. A friend of mine who I grew up with, actually, he knows Dan Panel, who does the Agar, the auction house. So him and Daniel were really good friends, and Daniel was really the guy that kind of got me into, just shepherded me like through that whole learning process of wallets and, you know, gas and all this stuff. I think I was pestering him like every day with like, you know, dozens of questions about what do I do with this and how do I do that. But he was awesome. So yeah, big shout out to Daniel for sure, because like without his kind of guidance, I definitely would have stumbled way more times than I did.
Yeah, artists helping other artists out to really get comfortable with like how to navigate. I've seen that so much, and it's really cool to, you know, hear that's still happening.
Yeah, and you know what? I think like for me, I've done that with a few artists now. Like guys there was one guy called Josh, who I saw him on Rareable quite early. I don't think he was in Verified, and I saw his work, and it was just outstanding. And I was like, I reached out to him and just kind of said, all right, how you doing? You know, just bought one of your pieces, wanted to just, you know, connect and hook up. And we just got talking, and like, you know, it turned out that he had like literally just like thrown some stuff up about 4 or 5 days earlier, hadn't really had any traction. And so I kind of gave him a bit of advice, maybe just about a few things that he could do, and then introduced him to the community, and he just got like swept up. You know, so many people were just like into him. So for sure, I mean, for me, that was like a really good thing to do, a really positive, you know, thing to be able to help someone out and just kind of like help bring them on board.
Yeah,
as I was kind of helped, you know. So I think, you know, that's a big thing with the community. And I've got to say that this community, I've never experienced anything like this in my professional life or like my private life. You know, just the way that everyone is so helpful and engaging and supportive, you know, it's so unique. And I just hope that as more and more people kind of come into this space, that we manage to kind of maintain some of that integrity, you know, because for me, that's really one of the things that makes being part of crypto art so good, is not just the art, it's the people that are involved with it as well.
I totally agree. 100%.
When you draw your masks, do you use symmetry? So you only have to draw one side?
Oh,
for sure. Yeah. That symmetry tool in Procreate is like the savior. I think one thing that, so another guy who's like a big influence on my work is a guy called Dan Mumford. You should definitely check him out. He does some amazing, he's an amazing artist. He does some amazing stuff for like licensed work that he sells over in the States. He does stuff for like Star Wars, loads of film poster artworks for the studios. But I actually went to a talk of his at the Apple store once up in London. And he just had some really kind of good advice. Like when you're doing anything using symmetry tool, use the symmetry up until a point and then turn it off, and then just kind of add little touches in that are different to each side of whatever you're drawing on symmetry, just so that it doesn't all feel like so like it's all from the same, all done on the same side, as it were. So, but yeah, I for sure definitely use that symmetry tool. It's a lifesaver.
Good. That's awesome. So Badass Crypto has a question. He says, will the number 7 also be a 1 of 1?
Yes, it will be. Yeah. Again, something that I try and do is, in the early days, I started to do more kind of like a run of a number of images, but kind of don't like doing that. So a lot of my work is just going to be one of one, which most of it is, to be honest with you now. So yeah, for sure.
Let's going down the line here because I'm trying to get to everybody. So here's one from Natural Warp. A bit of a shameless plug here as well, but I'd love to exhibit some of your work, Zach, in one of our group or solo exhibition parcels at Somnium. Suppose you'd be interested in that. I'm all for cross-platform promotion, getting all over the place, and I think people will know there's a lot of collabs that happen in these voice channels. So Natural Warp wants to know if you'd be interested in maybe getting together on that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always up for a collab.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's important. You know, because it kind of stretches gets you out of your comfort zone as well. So I think it's good to collab and just mix it up, and you learn a lot.
Awesome. So there you go, Natural. And yet again, Russ, we have another collab that's happening live in the voice channel. So let's continue here. So from Toss That Bag, semi-greedy question. I see Zach has some NFTs on Rarible that aren't currently on sale. And is he open to offers on NFTs he got stock of but isn't currently selling? I really want one of those Emancipator Healer High Priests.
Yeah, you know what, the whole Rarible thing recently where they redid their contract, that took a load of stuff offline, and I just haven't been back on to put it back up for sale. So for sure, I'll put that stuff back up on sale soon.
All right, cool. So there you go. So it really wasn't a selfish question. You got a good answer from it. So I'm going to give the community about another 10, 20 seconds, maybe ask Zach some last minute questions while he's in here live with us today. While they're typing those questions, Zach, I want to say, obviously, thank you so much for joining in. You know, I know I have a few questions of myself that I'm going to ask you offline in secret, you know, especially about some things coming to the future. Here's another one that just came in right now from Spherical. Does Zach ever work in 3D?
Yeah, so 3D is something that I am learning.
You might need a collab for that. No, sorry.
I've got Blender on the go, so I'm making donuts at the moment, doing the Blender tutorial. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm planning on doing, and something I'm looking forward to doing, because I can just see some of the stuff that I make, especially like the droids and things. I can just see them working in 3D like so well.
Oh, so we have another question from Mendelsage. Have you had collectors said that they were too slow to get a certain piece because it was a one of one? I'm gravitating to making one of ones too, but I'm thinking now it might be better to do low number editions, 3 out of 3s perhaps, to give more the chance to collect.
I mean, for sure, you know, I think, you know, if I've only ever done like 10 as a max, I think was the most I ever had in as a collection that sold. If I was going to do anything, then it would be 3 of 3 for sure, if people want to kind of collect that. But even with some of my 3 of 3 stuff, I've still got pieces that have, you know, been around for several months. So I just kind of started feeling that one of one for me was just a good way to go. I know you can make more money if you do a kind of collection of pieces, but you know, I just like people to have my art, and if, you know, they collect it, it's sold, they own it. There's something quite nice about that as well. Just, you know, people owning a one of one just gives you a special buzz as well, I think. Mm-hmm. Especially, you know, some of the one of ones that I own, you know, it's nice that you can just buy it, and there's a good feeling that you're the only person that's gonna
flexing a one of one, like like it's empowering. Especially if you love the art, like it's really, really special. I can identify with that totally.
What is the right routine? Just all one of ones, some collections, some one of ones. And I think it really depends on your audience. You know, like Zach's saying, I think it's important to really connect with the people that want to invest with you, the people that are interested in your art, you know, being accessible, talking to the artist, in developing a relationship with them. You know, at least that's what I feel, from my opinion, would drive me to want to invest in that person. And just having that artwork while also having a personal relationship with the artist is much, much more valuable to me than just blindly buying a piece just because I like it. Knowing the artist, knowing that the artist cares about the buyer, hearing feedback, learning, you know, right here in voice chat, you know, about, you know, quantity levels. This stuff is really important, Zach, and I think you're doing it right.
Yeah, for sure. And I think obviously every artist is different, and I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way either. For the Punx series that I did, they were definitely going to be one of one, because I wanted that to drive the market. Obviously, the crypto Punx is like an obvious thing that you could kind of relate that to, is that sense of ownership, of like owning that distinct piece. And so that for me is as a collectible series, I definitely wanted to focus on those being one of one. And then that also drives the market for people that, want one. If there's a drop coming, then they know that, they're going to have to be quick to pick them up.
Can I interject and share something I just discovered? Like, the people who own your art are artists. Like, you got George Boya, and then you have Metageist over here. That's so cool to me. And that's what we were just talking about. Like,
I was stoked that George and Metageist managed to pick those up.
I'm not happy about it, but
that was cool. I was buzzing because I was actually, I think I was out, and I kind of saw the message on my phone that they'd sold. I was just like, I was so stoked that those guys managed to pick them up.
Is it cool when is it that much cooler when you know who purchased it?
Yeah, especially like when you've got artists who you respect and admire picking up your work. It's just crazy. There's a guy called Jam Factory, who's a guy based in Bristol in the UK, and I've been following him. His name's Gavin. I've been following Gavin for like several years on Instagram. Love his work. He's a crazy like stuff. He's just like so talented. And he picked up one of my pieces like not that long ago, and I was just so stoked, that someone who I've admired and someone whose work I've always looked up to has picked up a piece of mine. It's just like, that blows you away. That's just something really special about that.
Yeah, it sounds surreal for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even with Chris Skinner was just like saying that he really wanted to pick up this one piece, and I was just like to me that was just like blew my mind, because so much respect for those artists.
Do you believe NFTs, the crypto space, like has created these pathways to actually make these connections, or do you think you would have had them eventually?
I wouldn't.
You would.
I wouldn't have done that. I don't think I would have been so inclined to reach out to someone and talk to someone unless we were in this space together. I've tried to engage with other artists on Instagram before without a huge amount of success. You kind of get the small acknowledgement or something, but you don't really start any conversations. I think the fact that everyone's on Twitter, and everyone calls it crypto Twitter, because obviously everyone's just talking about NFTs and crypto, but it's so good that you can like even just DM people. I've just like DM'd someone and said, hey, hope you don't mind me contacting you, but blah 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 blah, and then next minute you're into like conversations with them, and that's just so cool, and I don't see it anywhere else.
As an artist, do you feel like Terra Virtua gives you good exposure? And then in parentheses, I'm just trying to understand what caters artists to a certain platform. Do you feel like Terra Virtua stands out in any sense compared to other crypto art platforms?
Oh man.
Yeah, I think what Terra Virtua does is that you guys have got an existing kind of customer base and audience that are already collecting, and maybe they weren't collecting art, but they would collect the collectibles that you guys have on offer for them. Is something that is unique in the space for sure. And I think that adding art to your portfolio is just gonna it's going to kind of bring more people to your platform from the kind of art scene, but it's also going to expose the people that were already collecting. It's going to expose them to other people's work. So for me, it just feels like it's a really good kind of gelling of kind of two marketplaces.
Totally. And curious question, just from myself, how are you liking the art gallery? The quality of the art gallery.
I love the art gallery. I'm Mac based, Jeff. I need to get the workaround, because yes. I see other people. I see you guys using it, and I saw the thing with Gabby when you kind of did a chat with him, and he was showing all his work off, and I think it's one of the best galleries. It is the best gallery I've seen. So I'd love to be able to kind of step in and start using it for sure.
We'll have to relay that to our dev team so they can blush a little bit.
Yeah, we're aware of all Mac users out there. Obviously, as everyone can imagine, working with Mac and iOS, Apple, etc., it's quite a pain and it's a little bit of a hassle. Is absolutely something that has been brought up and something that is totally on our radar. We're trying to figure out a proper workaround. Not only for the platform itself, but also for our mobile app. Our mobile app is live on Android now, and it's not on iOS. So we're actually working on ways, not just brainstorming on how to get around that and make sure that we can be inclusive to only people that have Mac or iPhones and don't have any access to any type of Microsoft products. So we'll be in touch with that as time moves on.
Sure.
It's a difficult process for sure. It's really tough,
but all of our devs are wizards, so no big deal.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you guys have done a great job. I think the interface and everything is just it's just really slick. I love the look of it all. It's really good.
If you want to talk about any upcoming releases, what's coming soon to Terra Virtua, any type of information you want to provide to our community, this is your time to shine, and tell us anything you feel like everyone should know.
Yeah, well, I've always got loads of stuff happening, that's for sure. So yeah, again, so the Space Reavers is something that I'm definitely going to be working on, looking to do some big things with that, along with Zieg and the Ethmen guys. The next series of the Punx is going to be coming out probably in about 4 to 5 weeks' time. I've just got a backlog of other things I need to be kind of doing. I've got a few collaborations that I've got going on, but I can't really talk about those at the moment. But yeah, just watch this space, because there's always going to be something happening. And for sure, the new the mech Oni Masks are going to be making their way to Terra Virtua soon. I'm just working on trying to get a few of them lined up so that I can do a drop that, is going to be a bit more substantial than the little teaser that I did the last time. So definitely looking forward to doing that.
As are we.
Cool. Yes, definitely. Awesome. Well, again, we wanted to thank you for coming on into our Discord voice channel, telling us a little bit about yourself and your art. Obviously, it's super intriguing. Really looking forward to that drop. For all the community that is listening, both on Discord and Twitch, we absolutely thank you for stopping by and giving Zach the floor and hearing what he has to say. And hopefully we will see these pieces sooner than later, Zach. But we appreciate your time to come here today.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, guys, for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.